Rodrygo to Manchester City. Is it going to happen? It's a very, very exciting one. Let's dive straight into it. Hello everyone, welcome back to the MCFC Lads YouTube channel. Now, it's all gone mental. Everything's just gone crazy. Last, not even 24 hours, 12, 13 hours. There's so many rumours and so many things that are happening. So I am joined by Alex, obviously, co-host of the podcast, but this couldn't wait for the podcast. Had to jump straight in, didn't we, Alex? We
did. A lot has happened in this last 24 hours. We were even thinking today about, can we leave it an extra 5 hours or whatever because of how quickly everything's moving. But things have gone absolutely mental in the market.
Yeah, so for starters, Jack Grealish on loan to Everton. It looks like they'll be covering sort of the majority of his wages. He's on 300k a week at City, around that anyway. And it looks like Everton, from what I've read, will be paying sort of over at least 200k of that. Pretty much most of the wages. For them, they're getting probably their most expensive player in terms of wages, but it makes sense for them to do that because he is a great player and obviously they're getting him on loan, so they're not paying anything for him.
Yeah, no, it makes complete sense for them to make that transfer. We've known about it for quite a while, to be honest, so it was sort of an inevitability, but good sign of them. Fingers crossed he can do well and earn us back some money at the end of the season. Obviously, he's got a 50 million option to buy, I think David Ornstein said.
Yeah.
And fingers crossed he can take some points of Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, all of them. Obviously, he won't be able to play against us this season, but if he plays well, takes points off them, that's a result for us as well.
Well, it seems like we're moving on pretty quickly from Grealish, but like we said, it's not an exciting one. We sort of all knew that was coming. We all knew there was a loan moving. James McAtee to Forest again. We'll probably just brush over this fairly quickly. 20 million now. It's a cheap fee. It is a cheap fee, but I do believe City will have a sell-on clause on this and a buyback. So, if McAtee hits the ground running and turns into a £100 million player, like we sort of have seen with Cole Palmer over the last couple of years, one, we have the option to buy him back, and two, if they make a huge profit on him, we'll get a nice slice of that. So, yeah, McAtee for me is a great player, but I think it's his time to go. And like I said on my TikTok earlier, he's only on a 1-year deal left at City. So I can see why it is a little bit on the cheap side.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the thing said excess of 20 million, so there might be a little bit more than that as well, which is positive. And I did actually say on the podcast not too long ago, I think it was in the squad preview video, the podcast, I said I'd rather send him for cheaper if it means we get a buyback. So, like you say, it's not a great fee, but if we have got a buyback, then we've got the cash now, we've got 1 year left in his deal, he can go to Forest, get some minutes, and if he is all of that, then we'll get him back realistically if it's a reasonable buyback. And if not, then we've made 20 million on a player that's not good enough to play for City right at this moment. So it's not great, but it's equally not the worst.
Yeah, and I mean, so I've seen that come out, and I was thinking, right, these are pretty standard sales.
Yeah.
We knew we were going to get rid of some players. And then Savinho out of nowhere, Savinho potentially moving to Tottenham. Now, that to me is quite wild. We brought him in for 30-odd million last summer from Girona, obviously our sister club. I don't think he had an unbelievable season at all, really. I think he had one Premier League goal, a number of assists, to be fair. And, he was only 20 coming in, so he's a young player, experiencing life in a new country, but at the end of the day, he's playing for Manchester City. He didn't have a terrible season, but he also didn't have an amazing season. So it's crazy that, Tottenham are interested in him, but how do you think that one will go?
Yeah, I mean, it's cut off absolutely nowhere last night. I was not expecting to see it before bed. But Tottenham need attacking players. Obviously, Maddison's gone for the season now with his ACL. Son's gone, so they need replacements. And so is an interesting one. Obviously, the output last year wasn't quite there, but the potential is obviously there. I think I saw in his only season at Girona, he got like 19 goal contributions or something stupid. So he's only 21. He's got a lot of room to improve, but like I just said, he's not the finished article right now. Obviously, Tottenham bid €50 million so far. City have turned that down, which is the right move because £43 million, whatever it is just not enough for me to tempt us to sell him. But if it starts to get to 60, 70 million, obviously you have to start to consider that. And obviously we'll go on to the potential replacements later, but it's an interesting one. I don't know what to think of it all, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a bit of a strange one. I mean, my first instinct was that it's never going to happen because City have such a broken down relationship with Tottenham. Obviously, they held out for so much for Kyle Walker. Ended up being a great deal in 50 million. Harry Kane going to Bayern the year before, a couple of years before, we were all over that deal, and they just wouldn't even communicate with us. So I think in terms of like sales to Tottenham, it's always going to be difficult. City don't like Tottenham. Obviously, they're in the Champions League this season as well, and yeah, if they're going to want Savinho, obviously, like we said, he might be on the way out to create space for someone else. But I I do think it's a hard one. If Tottenham want him, they're going to have to pay 60, 70 million, like you said, and it's not going to be the 50 they want to pay. So, yeah, I'm not too sure how I feel about that one. Anyway, so we see that last night. We see, obviously, the other two on the way out. And then I see out of nowhere Xavi Simmons. So I don't know where that's come from, but there was talk of Xavi Simmons from RB Leipzig. Obviously, young Dutch midfielder. What do you make of him, and do you think City could sign him?
Obviously, I know a lot less about him than the other player we're linked with. But obviously, I think we all remember that goal he scored for the Netherlands against England in the Euro semi-finals last year. Very good. Chelsea, obviously very heavily linked. To be honest, it kind of looked like that deal was basically done until City were interested this morning. But I'm not sure I see this one happening. From what I gather, he's more of a central player than a wide player, and we really don't need central players right now. We've got so many of them. Even in just attacking midfield, we've got Foden and Cherki alone, which is just beyond depth. So we don't need to add to that whatsoever. He obviously will be replacing Savinho if he does come in. The fee would probably be north of 60 million, so it costs more than Savinho, I'd imagine. But yeah, I don't know what to think of that one. I can't see that one happening personally. I don't think that will be the player that City go for. But I mean, we'll just have to wait and see.
I mean, yeah, he's one of them players, we've known about him for a while, but I'm the same. I don't think there'll be much substance to that. I'm not saying it's wrong or City haven't, looked at him, but like you said, we've got so many players in midfield. Kovacic has had a deal turned down to Saudi. I don't know whether that was him or City doing that. So yeah, I think that Simmons one won't happen, but the one everyone is asking about is obviously Rodrygo. Real Madrid, we know more. We know a lot about him, don't we? Because he's played against us and he scored a number of goals against us. I think he's an unbelievable player. And Real Madrid are looking for €100 million. Now, when this dropped, I was like, what is happening? I thought our transfer business was done after James Trafford. I thought we'll be ready to go into the new season. But things are happening behind the scenes. And, what do you make of Rodrygo?
I think as a transfer, this one always was the most likely. As soon as Savinho was announced he was going, I was already seeing people saying we should go for Rodrygo because there was all the talk that he was going to leave Madrid this summer. Liverpool and Arsenal have stiff there. Before the window even started, there was talk we were interested. So it was inevitable the rumour was going to happen. As you said, we've seen a lot of him. We know how good he is. He scored those goals that have broken our hearts multiple times in the Champions League. And like you say, he's a great player. I do have my reservations. He's going to cost us €100 million, like you said. That's about £85 million. He's not cheap, but again, quality isn't cheap. I'm not completely sold based on... I know a lot of people have mentioned goal contributions and stuff. I think that's nonsense. I think he does get a good level of that. And he will add to the team. He'll get more than Savinho. I mean, that's not difficult based on what he did last season. But I do think he'll add goals and assists to the team. I think for me, the big thing is, and I've got no substance to this opinion whatsoever, but just, I've got a concern about the attitude. I just think, I can't stand Real Madrid and the whole Vinicius
I know what you're saying.
Thing. That kind of mentality around the squad isn't something that I particularly want. And although I've got no sort of evidence to suggest that Rodrygo's attitude is bad or anything like that, I've got a feeling he'll come with an ego and he'll expect to play all the time.
I get what you're saying.
But yeah,
I get what you're saying a bit, and just any player from Real Madrid, you don't want it to rub off the wrong way when he comes to City. I get what you're saying with that. I mean, personally, my opinion on it is, if we can sign him, I would like to sign him. I think he's an unbelievable player. You sort of have to weigh up what the expense of that is, and who's going to leave, and how much we're going to pay, etc., etc. But if the deal makes sense to the board, I think it's very ambitious to go and sign a world-class quality player. And he's somebody that, he could bring a lot of success to the team. So, yeah, the output of Savinho last season, I know he's a young player and he's not quite the same profile as Rodrygo. But, yeah, I mean, it's a guarantee of goals, assists and potentially success. So, yeah, it's an exciting one. Obviously, I want to hear what other people think. I'm all over Twitter, obviously, Luke Stanley 03. Alex has given you his thoughts there. But yeah, if you want to basically leave your opinions in the comments, make sure you do. I'm interested to kind of see what other City fans think. And so if you've enjoyed this little update, we had to drop it. The podcast will be landing on, I believe, Thursday, the next one. Yep. We couldn't leave this little bit. We'll obviously be updated by then a little bit more. But yeah, check out the previous podcast as well. And ahead of the new season, there'll be loads more content coming. Including the channel membership stuff we're going to be launching soon. So if you enjoyed, leave a like, let us know your thoughts in the comments. And drop a sub as well. See you in the next one.